Today, we're talking about music forms, specifically RYM and Album of the Year. Pick your side. You know, inside of me, there are two wolves, and they're both fucking losers. Now, to be honest with you, I'm prowling, you feel me? I have accounts on both Album of the Year and RYM. Which one do I prefer? RYM team till I die. I'm gonna be honest, if we're comparing them, RYM I think is just better, mainly because of its age. It's way older, so there's way more shit on it. I think the ratings on RYM are a bit more, reliable, because Album of the Year, here's a main issue with Album of the Year. You go on Album of the Year, right? You're like, shit, oh, let me search up the fucking top 25 albums of 2000s, 2010, or fucking all time, why not? And then you'll find that in 5 of those albums, it's gonna be some fucking video game soundtrack like Dark Souls 3 or Super Mario Odyssey 2 or Nier Automata. And I'm not saying they're bad soundtracks, because I haven't listened to them. I imagine the music sounds great, but the scoring system is so fucked on Album of the Year, okay? These soundtracks have like maximum 100 reviews, maybe. And they're up there with other albums that have like, I don't know, fucking 5,000 plus reviews. So it just feels really balanced and just kind of fucky. RYM doesn't have this problem. They've kind of tinkered with it for longer. I think Album of the Year will eventually catch up. Also, another super nitpick thing, but y'all review an Album of the Year and you see a review that piques your interest. So you click more and then it loads a new fucking page and now you have to click back. I know that's like super it's a nothing complaint. But like RYM doesn't have that and it's way better. The question has to be asked, it's like when you have something like music and you turn it into this kind of scoring system, it's competitive fucking music. Is it good for music listeners? Like, are we the bad guys? Should we be doing this shit? And that's kind of the weird stigma in my mind with music forums, is that it kind of instantly creates this amount of toxicity. And a lot of people, including myself during a period of time, you kind of like naturally just start thinking like numbers. What's the rating? What's the score? How is it in the all-time chart? How is it in the decade chart? You feel me? And it devalues the music. And you start thinking, well, like, I really like this album. It's such a great album. But Album of the Year doesn't really like it, or RYM doesn't really like it. And then it fucks with music for yourself. Also, we gotta talk about the reviews on the music forums. Sometimes they're just trolling, sometimes they're serious, sometimes they're dropping some profound knowledge, like this one on the Unwound, Leaves Her Inside You. I like that review. Album of the Year has been infected by a disease called Brad tasted music. Do I not like Brad? No, I actually watch a lot of, that's a lie. I watch some of his videos. I don't really like his live streams. No, I think they're kind of boring. I watched a lot of his videos, but let's be honest, he has fucking like ruined Album of the Year. He has made that shit way worse than it could have been, to an extent, because it feels like he kind of owns the site almost. And because of this, his sort of sense of humor kind of rubs off on everybody on the site. But at the same time, with all the negatives and, you know, it might hurt your music taste and how you view music. Like, let's be honest, would you fucking know what Death Consciousness was if it wasn't for fucking music forums? And I guess technically you would have to count Mew, the 4chan music forum. I've never frequent that. I've never been on it, and it's kind of an old school sort of shit, but you know, it's there. Would we know about Fishmans? RYM popularized Fishmans in the live album and long season. Would we fucking give a shit about it? And I think the music forums work as like kind of a collection of all the music that, you know, has ever been made. Because so many of the albums that we love and we know, especially the older ones, we would have zero fucking idea about if it wasn't for these music forums. Album of the Year again? Not really. I think that's mainly just because it's newer. I think RYM is better than Album of the Year, just because it's been around for way longer. I think the interface is like way more clean and just understandable. Like, Album of the Year's got that like modern interface, you feel me? And like, it's all nice and shit. But honestly, I do not fuck with it. It feels like too simplified. Like, why do you gotta separate all the fucking albums and shit into different links? Just put all that shit on one page like RYM does. Like, it's that simple. Now that I got my thoughts across, I'll let you guys know. I went into the community tab and I asked all of you, what do you think about RYM? What do you think about Album of the Year? What do you think about music forums in general? Are they a bit fucky-wucky, or do they do good for, you know, music listeners worldwide? Many of you said how it's like more important about how it kind of archives and has all these albums available for you to discover and explore. Yeah, I mean, that's completely definitely the positive and the number one thing that you should take advantage of when you go on these music forums. Because honestly, it's about finding music you like, and if you have a genre that you kind of like if you really like fucking punk or some shit, and then you only know like Nirvana or Alice in the Chains, so then you go on RYM or whatever, and then you search out the punk genre, and you see the other top 10 that the sites rate as punk, and then you got a bunch of fucking albums that you can listen to and see if you like. Breakthrough GD also mentions how it helps newer acts. I'm gonna be real, I don't really listen to a lot of newer releases, but it definitely helps. Somebody like Paranol, I really think without RYM and Album of the Year would not be blowing up as much as he is currently. I think it's just because the sites are looking for music that they enjoy, and since they're not critics, they're not being paid to say shit. If they like something and they think it's very talented and artistic or whatever the fuck, they're gonna support it and they're gonna rate it high and they're gonna let it be known. So something like Paranol is exactly what comes to mind. All the music forums are great for this, and that's why they kind of need to be here. Maple Syrup 8473 says, I think it's a double-edged sword where it has helped me to find some incredible albums that I've never seen otherwise. At the same time, it closes me off to anything that isn't bolded and hurts me in that manner. RYM, and I'm not sure about Album of the Year, I think they have like the star in the top right or some shit. On RYM, when you click on an artist's page, when you see their album, some of the albums will be bolded. These are like what people think you should listen to or what's worth listening to. And there is definitely a stigma where if you get too used to looking at the bolded name, you'll go on an artist page and you'll be like, oh shit, only one of them is bolded. Okay, so then I just need to listen to that, fuck the rest of their catalog. That's all I need to be here for. But it definitely can be detrimental because then you're kind of more narrow-minded, I guess, when you're looking at these forums. Instead of just kind of looking at artists as a whole, you're almost looking at them just for albums. I mean, sometimes an artist is just an album. Like, let's be real. Like, you do not know the artist like that. Row Review says that he uses Album of the Year more for cataloging, which I could definitely see, but he uses RYM for discovering, which, RYM is just, it's way better in my opinion. If you're trying to look for music, it feels much easier to find music because the sites and the links and everything, the UI is just better. And he says it can be kind of toxic, but you gotta not take it too seriously, which is true. And I know I complained about half the people just trolling reviews, and trolling in reviews is all right. And if it's funny, but I'd want like at least like kind of one serious review so I have an idea about the album. He also mentions keeping to himself. See, that's the number one thing you need to do. Yo, do you people actually fucking talk to people on these music forums? Like, seriously? Because I never do that shit. I've been on them. I've had accounts for like a few years now. I never like talk to people on these music forums. Maybe you guys do that shit. If you like it, go ahead. But I feel like the minute you start like arguing with people on fucking RYM about how much you like this album or how you think this album is shit, you're in too deep. You need to get out. RM and AOTY, longer one. I'm gonna let you read it. Pause the video real quick, do whatever the fuck you want. But just spitting straight facts on here, nothing but facts. Especially the top one. That's such a valid point because really I can definitely relate. When I was first getting into music and I saw sites like RYM, you kind of immediately are like, I need to like this or I need to fucking hate this. Like Long Season was the main example for me because I listened to it and I was like, what the fuck, people like this? That was after the first listen, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna hate it. I actually have an old review of Long Season, like from 3 years ago. I unlisted it, where I was like, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10 to show them that I don't like it. Guys, at the end of the day though, just listen to music. Go on these sites. If you're gonna use music forums, go ahead and comment and talk to people on them if you really feel like it. I would recommend against it, but you do you. I do recommend using sites like RYM and Album of the Year because you're gonna expand your music taste and you'll probably find shit that you wouldn't find without it. And while these sites do have a lot of people who are playing competitive, ranked league music listening and rating, you don't really got to pay attention to them. And using the genre features to just find music you like that sounds similar to music you already kind of know is extremely helpful. And if we're being honest, me and everybody watching this video wouldn't know half the albums we like unless it was for sites like fucking RYM and Album of the Year. So anyways, guys, keep listening to music, keep fucking writing reviews on RYM or whatever the fuck you do in your free time. Keep rating the shit you like. And these music forums, they're helpful, okay? At the end of the day, we need them. And even if we don't like them, fuck it, whatever. Yeah, I didn't really script the video. I didn't really have a plan. I just kind of want to talk about forums. I wanted to mention what you guys thought about forums and kind of just, all that shit. Tell me what you think about music forums in the comments below. Keep the conversation going. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.